Toledo Rockets looking to get one day better, which is one of the favorite phrases of Mike Robinson. Of course, you see him all the time here on BCSN with Game Day Nation Overtime, and the Toledo Rockets Radio Network. Mike Rob, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark.
Have you seen the secondary do what it needed to do in that Week 1 victory over Duquesne?
Absolutely. You know, I said it last week that I believe that this team here defensively, especially in the secondary, is a little bit better than what people thought. You had a lot of guys get experience on the field last year, and a lot of hungry Rockets sat behind some really good football players for this opportunity, and they showed up.
Braden Alls was the UT Defensive Player of the game. Reasonover, the Special Teams Player of the game. You saw Bryson Hammer out of Fremont Ross returning punts. A lot of 419 guys really contributing, which is nothing new, and it's what Jason Candle's always talked about. But we saw some of those younger guys come through against Duquesne. Yeah,
absolutely. And then one thing that you mentioned with Bryson Hammer, I had the opportunity to interview Adam Bill on the sideline, and we talked a little bit about him passing that position on, talking about that punt return spot has been a walk-on job. You had Devin Maddox who took it, who also went on to be a great wide receiver for the team. And you also had Adam Bill who did it, and he also earned himself a scholarship too. Bryson Hammer's in a long list of great guys that's had that job in front of him, and he respects it because he takes care of this job like it means so much to him, where a lot of kids will look at it and say, I really don't want to go back there, I might get hurt. He did a really good job at Fremont Ross by stepping up as a freshman and playing 4 solid years of varsity football. He can handle this job as well.
Speaking of handling jobs, Tucker Gleason was the backup the last couple of years, saw plenty of time either spelling guys or in injury situations. He was not overwhelmed by getting his first official start as the QB1 for the Rockets in that win.
It's great to see Tucker out there because this kid is so, overwhelmed with happiness. I mean, I've never seen Tucker sad or not a smile on his face. And when you get to see him on the sideline during game day, it's the same way. He's still cheerful, still happy, but once he gets on the field, it's interesting, to see his demeanor change, to see the way he locks in, and he throws such a tight spiral. I'm surprised he hasn't hurt any of his receivers by putting the ball there too much. But all seriousness, he is a solid guy. He's paid his dues. He's waited his opportunities to get out there and to go for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in your first start. That is awesome. I mean, as a full-time QB, he's had some starts before.
Yeah, Rockets took care of business in Week 1. Week 2, they are back at home against Massachusetts. Now, UMass, they lost last week at home to Eastern Michigan. Next season, they join the MAC. They're still an independent this year. They're playing plenty of MAC schools. And the Rockets have never really had any issues with the Minutemen in years past.
They've handled them pretty handily. There's some games where, they make it gritty and tough because that's just what they do. It's a Division I football program. They got really good coaches and they got really good players. Their quarterback, Tyson, he's going to step up here. Obviously, last year he was a little bit banged up when the Rockets had to face him, so they didn't get his best. I think this year they're going to see a different performance from him. I think the fast offense that Eastern Michigan had, a few missed field goals from that UMass football team, they're really good. Running backs are solid too. They get to the red zone, they can score. But that defensive line from Toledo Rockets, are they going to be a little bit healthier this week? Those linebackers, what are they going to do? Because if the Rockets are at full strength, it's going to be a long night for UMass here in Toledo.
We talked about those Toledo guys playing for Toledo. Kevon Butler on the defensive line recovered a fumble in the win against Duquesne. Good to see him healthy and getting a lot of playing time. It's been a long road to get him ready to go.
Yeah, having Kevon Butler back here is one of the best things that's happened since Brian Koback left Kentucky. Having those guys come back home and realizing that the opportunity to play here, to see your dreams be realized. Again, talking to Dallas Gant on the sideline in a radio interview, and he just made the talk about the transition from going from a bigger program back to home where his love at. I think a lot of kids don't really understand that having a Division I program in your backyard and the opportunity to play big-time football right in front of your friends and family means so much to your community and everybody around.
And like Brian Koback, Dallas Gant is a Minnesota Viking, as he made the practice squad for the Vikings. And so he was able to come back home and watch. And he had a lot of those alumni on the sideline watching the Rockets get that win over the Dukes. Talking about UMass, head coach Don Brown, Dr. Blitz, we know what he did at Michigan, both the good and the bad. He's still going to bring that aggressive defense into the Glass Bowl.
And they're going to come here and they're going to play really well. And this is going to be a great test for the Rockets. Everybody know they're young up front. The film is out there. Everything's on tape, the mistakes that they've made, the big plays that Duquesne hit. They're going to let you know that the Rockets have to come out here and just take care of business because this is a business trip again. You got an opponent here. You're favored by 19.5 points. It's easy to look past this football team. They're getting into this conference next year. they're looking for some opportunity. The hot seat might be hot over there, you know, for UMass as they continue to progress throughout this season and look to join the MAC. So everybody's on pins and needles for this football game. But I tell you this, the Rockets should not have any problems coming out here moving the football, because that running back room has been as solid as it's been since Kareem Hunt and company.
And the Rockets with 2 extra days to prepare since they played on Thursday. They'll get back to the Saturday schedule as they take on UMass. I want to thank our guest, Mike Robinson from the Rocket Radio Network, for joining us. Thanks, Mike Rob.
Thanks for having me.